Thanksgiving. If you're listening to this the week it comes out, I'm recording this just before Thanksgiving. I'm actually super beat because your girl was up cleaning, getting ready for family to come in, getting groceries together. I'm actually hosting my first Thanksgiving ever, and I'm like, oh my goodness, what am I doing? I don't know how to cook no turkey, but anyway, that's neither here nor there. I just bring that up because this whole Thanksgiving week, and particularly something that I'm doing for Black Friday, is what sparked this episode because it caused a bit of a stir. And I was kind of surprised by that. I'm always surprised when I do things and people actually care. And I know y'all think that's like false humility, but I mean it. You know, I still don't understand why so many of y'all are even listening to this podcast. But, you know, I do me. I decide to pivot and switch and do all kind of stuff. And people are like, what? It's just a way bigger deal than I thought it was going to be. So if you're on my email list, and you might not be because there was a big, how should I describe it? A big list cleanup that I did, but I talked about this on Instagram. But in short, I announced that I am starting over and getting rid of virtually all of my products. So a few days ago, I posted this on Instagram, and I sent an email to my list. And I just basically said, your girl's tired. I'm tired. Am I tired of running a business? No. But I am tired of just the way things have been done. And I am tired of business as usual. I should probably read the actual post. I won't do that. But yeah, basically I sent an email and I posted on Instagram, just letting everybody know that, you know, I'm tired. I'm tired of fake, inauthentic Instagram posts. I'm just tired of the like braggadocious culture and perfectly curated images where everybody's like flossing and stunting and trying to show how perfect their life is and how successful they are making themselves out to be. I know some genuinely are, but a lot genuinely aren't. I'm really tired of that. I'm tired of, honestly, just freebies that aren't really free, or freebies that are just really thinly veiled sales pitches. I'm tired of that. I'm tired of funnels. And I know I always have to apologize every time I bring that up because I know some of you are like, what the heck is a funnel? But if you've been in the internet marketing arena for any amount of time, or you've done any online business, then you understand that funnels are these kind of fabricated, it's like a fabricated framework to lead a prospective customer down a particular process in order to encourage them to make a sale. And so all of these things I think weren't bad when they started out. Obviously posting on Instagram was not a bad thing when it started out. Creating freebies was not a bad thing when it started out. Even crafting funnels in your business was not a bad thing when it started out. But as I mentioned in one of my previous episodes, I think the episode that I talked about my business predictions for 2020, I think we have just reached a fever pitch in in online entrepreneurship, and all of this stuff is just too much. It's just too much. And I'm just over it, which is basically what the post was about. I'm just totally over it. And I don't want to participate in that culture anymore. I don't want to encourage people to think that the way to build a successful business is to get really good at all these tactics and these techniques and the latest and greatest and trendiest, you know, do this with your Facebook ads and do that with your Instagram and do this with your freebie. Like all this minutia, you know, I feel like people have made the icing the cake in a sense, right? The cake is building a brand, a real brand. The cake is giving value. The cake is building a real business. And everyone's gotten really obsessed with the icing that was meant to enhance the cake, and they're just literally focusing on icing. And I just feel like it's a fever pitch out there. I feel like customers and just, your target market or your audience, everybody's hip to the game now. Everybody's, wise to how this whole internet marketing, online marketing thing is. And I just feel like it's ineffective. Like, people are just tired of it. They're tired of being bombarded in their email inbox with a bunch of junk. They're tired of being bombarded on their Instagram feed with a bunch of junk. They're tired of being made to feel like they're complete losers, during your product launch, because you're sending them all this marketing copy and it's like, you suck unless you buy this thing, and it's just so much of it. I think everybody has gotten so focused on how they can make 10K in 10 days or 30K in 30 days, or following some formula that some guru on the internet told them they need to follow in order to be successful. Everybody's just gotten so focused on that I know I used this word in a previous episode. I feel like now it is a cacophony of just crap. It's a cacophony of crap. Put that on a t-shirt. A cacophony of entrepreneurial crap and noise. And I'm over it. But more than just being over it, I decided I wanted to do something that I didn't realize how radical it would be until I started getting email replies and people sending me DMs like, whoa, like, this is extreme. Why are you doing this? And someone even asked me like, yo, can you do a podcast on this? Which here we are. That's why I'm doing this podcast. But the radical and extreme thing that I decided to do was I decided to delete basically my entire email list, to delete all of my funnels, so all those little systems that I had in the background that I'm sure I've talked about on previous episodes, little marketing systems to, lead a prospect down a particular path to encourage them to buy something and to set them up for a sale. Deleted it all. Delete. So deleted all my email subscribers, deleted all of my funnels, and after Black Friday, I'll be deleting all of my products. Yes, you heard that right. That is not a gimmick. So for Black Friday, and if you're listening to this after Black Friday, I apologize because that means you missed out. But starting Black Friday and until supplies last, all of my products, virtually all of them, there's a handful that I'm going to keep on my website, but I have like over 30 different programs that I've created over the years since like 2015. I'm doing a fire sale where I'm selling all of them for $20.20. Get it? For 2020, the year coming up, 2020. Yep. I'm selling them for $20.20, which is a stupid, crazy price. I have courses that are on my website right now for like $300 and $400. Yes, even those I'm selling for $20.20. I say until supplies last, though, because as I said in the email yesterday, I do have a quantity limit. So I'm setting a quantity limit of 20 sales for each product. So, if there's a particular course, after 20 sales, then it's just sold out. So each product has a sold out limit or cap of 20, because even though I'm getting rid of the stuff, like, I'm not just trying to give it away. And I know that these prices are ridiculous, but so yeah, it's until supplies last. I don't know if we'll make it till Cyber Monday, if everything will be sold out by then. But yeah, once everything is sold, and, I wanted to do this to give people an opportunity who haven't tried my products. I have great testimonials. I know my stuff is good. So it's not a matter of like, oh, this is crap, I'm getting rid of it. Of course not. My stuff is really good. But yeah, I wanted to give everybody this one last opportunity to take advantage of my existing products. And then after that, they're going in the vault forever. So if you bought it in the past, or if you buy it during this promotion, you'll obviously still have access to it. But those products will no longer be sold on my website, because from that point going forward, and particularly in 2020, I am starting from scratch. And I'm doing this for a number of reasons, which I'll get into in this podcast, but I'm doing this mainly because I want to show my audience what it looks like and what it means to build a successful yet authentic business from scratch. So, like I said, I didn't think this was going to be a big deal, because I'm actually really excited about it. I'm really excited about really this like experiment and to be on a journey again. As you know, when I first started my website and what I do, my profession and my whole movement, I was in college, and this wasn't meant to be a business per se. This was just meant for me to document my journey and achieving various goals, and I ended up growing an audience along the way. And so I'm really excited to be back to that place. It's almost full circle. I'm actually back in school, which I'll be sharing more about in an upcoming episode. But yeah, I feel like I'm back in that place where I'm like that college girl. Just kidding. Your girl's 31. She ain't no college girl, even though I am back in school. But it's exciting to be back in that place of doing something new, doing something from scratch, and honestly doing something where there's no charted territory. So I don't feel like I'm missing anything, and I don't feel like I'm missing anything from, deleting my funnels and all that, because in my opinion, that stuff is not the move going forward anyway. I've watched those tactics become less and less effective. I've watched the market become more and more fed up with it. I've watched people become more and more fed up with perfectly, curated Instagram posts and these launches that are just like overdone. Like I've watched people just delete your emails, right? I've watched people just ignore this type of marketing. And so I don't think I'm going to be missing it going forward. And I know some people, well, I'll put it like this. I know a lot of my audience really resonated with that and really resonated with my Instagram posts. And we're like, yes, girl, I feel the same way. I'm so tired of it all. And they're excited to be following along to see, how do you build a business without having to do all that crap, without having to do all that stuff? But to be honest, I know I have a lot of peers who were watching me silently and they weren't commenting, or I was getting kind of like, backhanded comments on the low. But I know a lot of them, one, are not happy that I came on the scene and like declared all of this and getting everybody all riled up to do things different, and is calling out the fact that these tactics are annoying and, everybody's over it, So calling that out, I know they're upset because they're like, well, Courtney, this is how business is done, and what do you want us to do? Like, what's the alternative? And they don't appreciate me kind of pouring cold water on their business model and the things that they're clinging to and that they're holding on to because they feel like it's necessary to survive. Like, you have to have these type of funnels in order to make money. You have to launch your products this way in order to make sales. It's a dog-eat-dog world out there. It's super competitive. Like, what else am I supposed to do? And my answer to that, and what I plan on doing, is just giving. What are you supposed to do? You're supposed to give. Give what? You're supposed to give actual value. And that's the second main reason why I'm doing this, beyond just the excitement of starting over and having a new journey for people to follow along with. I want to show what it looks like to give value. Like, I want to get back to giving value. I think people don't know what giving value is anymore. Giving value has been twisted and construed as like this top of the funnel thing you do. Like, oh, giving value is like this PDF you slap together and you put it behind an email opt-in and you force people to sign up for it so that you can throw them in your funnel and then blast them with emails, marketing and promoting and telling them to buy your thing. I'm giving value, right? Or giving value is, doing this shady webinar where you only give 20 minutes or 15 minutes of genuine content, if that, and the rest of the time is spent either talking about your backstory or talking about your product for sale, and then you spend the last hour pitching your thing, right? Like, no one knows what it means to give value anymore. And I believe that for 2020, building a brand is the most important thing, and you build a successful brand by giving value And part of giving value, because I know some people are like, well, I'm not trying to give stuff away for free. And like, how do you make money? And all this. One, you should totally read the book called The Giver. It's an amazing book. I've heard of it and people have raved about it. I recently read it after actually experiencing some things, which I'm getting ready to go into. But yeah, I read it. The Go-Giver, I'm sorry. I think that's what it's called. Yeah, The Go-Giver. I'll put the link in the show notes. Read the book The Go-Giver. And even The Go-Giver in sales or something. There's like all these different types of Go-Givers. Like, you know, remember when chicken noodle soup for the soul came out, and then it was like chicken noodle soup for the mom's soul, chicken noodle soup for the dad's soul. The Go-Giver is the same way. There's like the original book, The Go-Giver, and then there's like all these different versions of The Go-Giver. And one of them is specifically, I want to say, for like sales and marketing or whatever. So read both of those, the original and then the one specifically for sales and marketing. I'll include the link in the show notes. But giving actual value is in part how you build a brand. And really, this is kind of like a part 2, I guess, or a follow-up to my episode about my business predictions for 2020, because I talked a lot about how I don't believe these tactics are going to be effective anymore in the new year, and that it's really important to build a brand, and that a brand is what's going to separate you. But I didn't talk about how to build that brand. And in my opinion, giving value, like real value, is the cornerstone of being able to build a brand that's going to set you apart. And if you don't believe me, you can just watch me, because, you know, if I fall on my face, well, there's that. But that's what I'm going to be focusing on going forward. So I think I can show you better than I can tell you with, you know, some storytelling. So I actually started getting on this track a few years ago. I started to smell that someone clean in the water with all these tactics a few years ago. And, you know, I've shared my story ad nauseum on this podcast, particularly when I switched my business name and my business model, and you can check out some of those episodes. But something that really stood out to me, I want to say in 2017, was I went to, I know it was 2017 because it was right before I was pregnant with my son. I went out to dinner with a good friend of mine, and she was telling me this experience she had where she was like, hey, I just wanted to give you a heads up, where she went to like this, you know, like a women's empowerment conference or event that these two ladies were putting on, and it was like a business event. And she was like, one, they were raving about you, Courtney, which was really cool. And I was like, oh, wow. She's like, yeah, they were like, oh, you know, we follow CourtneyLSanders and we love her stuff and, you know, her business. And, you know, she talks about helping women get in business and all this, you know, blah, yada, yada. But she was like, my friend was saying she was disturbed at the event because they were like super aggressive, like, girl, get your money, get your bag, like, get your money at all costs, girl, bossy, like that kind of attitude. And she was like, some of the marketing that they were doing was kind of like, not shady, but just like, it kind of like rubbed her the wrong way. And that they were just like super aggressive to the like when it comes to making money, to the point of almost like greed. And she was just like, the event was just kind of like a little sketch. So she was like, you know, it's cool that they knew you, but she felt a certain kind of way that they were like, oh yeah, we follow CourtneyLSanders, we love her content, and, you know, she taught us everything and all this stuff. Because she's like, you know, I know you in real life, and I know that, you know, you're not like how they were. So basically she was taking me out to lunch or dinner or whatever, wherever we were, to let me know that some of my content and my marketing basically was getting misconstrued, and that people were taking it and like kind of running with it and turning it into something that she knew that I wasn't down with. And something that didn't really represent me. And so at that point, I mean, in my head, I was kind of like, you know, what can I do with that? I didn't go to the event. I don't even know who these people are. But it always kind of like disturbed me and just rubbed me the wrong way to be like, ooh, you know, I don't like that people are taking business marketing and kind of like just going so hard with it to the point that it's not about genuine connection and like helping your target market and your customers. It's about like, girl, get your bag, get your money, like at any cost. Because I definitely don't teach that. But just that kind of like lust for money and lust for success was not good. And I even talked about this later, how I started to see that before I had my son. I started to see that a bit in some of the clients that I was attracting, and that they were like really aggressive about wanting to make a certain amount of money by a certain amount of time. And I was doing everything I could in my power to help them do that, and like literally like giving them my own templates and getting in their businesses and like actually doing the work for them, because I was so committed to helping people getting results if they were going to pay me. But I was worn out, and I was kind of exasperated with their attitude. Like, yeah, okay, we're in business. You know, I'm here to help you be a successful business and make money and all that stuff. That's all fine and dandy. But I was starting to get discouraged that I was starting to attract people that weren't there for like, because they had something of value that they wanted to like share with the world or share with an audience who really needed it, and they wanted to be financially compensated for that, you know? Yes, be well compensated for doing good work. I was starting to get kind of discouraged that I was attracting those who weren't into doing good work as much as they were into, you know, this narrative of whatever, making 10K in 10 days and 30K in 30 days. And it was just like, well, teach me how to make more money like faster. And I'm like, what? Like, that's not how it works. So yeah, so that I started to kind of get a whiff of that in 2017, and I didn't like it. But I felt like, honestly, I feel like how a lot of peers, I felt like how a lot of my peers maybe feel now, in the sense that I was like, well, but what else do I do? Like this is industry standard. Like this is how you market your business. You run funnels and Facebook ads, and you know, you do all the things. Like what else am I supposed to do in order to make money? So, you know, kind of rubbed me the wrong way, but I just kind of kept at it. And then obviously I had my big epiphany and big spiritual awakening and all that stuff. Go listen to all those previous episodes. But then recently I started to have some experiences that was like, okay, we need to make a change, a radical change, where maybe we need to just start over, because I need to show people what this really looks like. So I had one situation that happened relatively recently since moving to Houston, where I collaborated with a young lady on a project and received a thank you gift as just, you know, a thank you for participating. And so I used that thank you gift because I thought it was a gift. And, you know, I posted the gift on social media, and I was really shocked and kind of horrified to receive a scathing email from this individual that same day, basically saying how upset they were with me that I didn't like shout them out and promote their business further, you know, than what I did during the course of our collaboration, which wasn't even a part of our collaboration, to be honest. That wasn't what I had agreed to do just in general. But basically it became clear and apparent from this email where I was like, whoa. And this was not someone that I knew really well. It was kind of like a new partnership. But I was like, oh, you know, I'm always about supporting people. And, you know, I remember being in that place, kind of getting started as an upstart, that kind of thing. So I was really shocked that this person basically gave me this gift as kind of like a thinly veiled quid pro quo. Like it became clear from their email that they had an expectation that it wasn't really a thank you gift for collaborating or participating with them. It was really kind of like a bit of a Trojan horse, in the sense that they were hoping that they would give this to me and that I would be forever indebted to use this gift and, you know, shout them out, you know, every time I used it, and promote their brand to my audience. And they made it very clear in their email that they were very disappointed, you know, in the lack of, I guess, quid pro quo or whatever, like the lack of like promotion they received from me that they felt they deserved, even though that was never communicated to me. That wasn't a part of the collaboration. Like, I was really blindsided by this, because I was like, I thought you wanted to work with me off the strength of like what I was bringing to the table, and, my insight. Like, when did this become about me promoting you on my platform? Like, I was like, what? So I was like, whoa, that it just really left a bad taste in my mouth. One, because the email, was accusatory, and it was just out of line. Like, it was like, don't do this. It was just a bad idea. I was like, yeah, this was not smart. Like, don't ever send anybody some stuff like this. But I was really disappointed because I was like, wow, this person was kind of a new upstart, which is why I agreed to participate and collaborate with them in a way, because, I wanted to get to know them. I wanted to kind of see what they were about. And, I'm always encouraged by people starting things, and, another young Black woman, trying to get something together. I'm always about that. And so I was really disappointed because I was like, wow, she doesn't understand how this works. Like, and it was just such a stark difference because at the same time, so I'm, collaborating and doing this participation with this person who's kind of like new to the game. But then at the same time, I'm doing collaborations and participation, particularly in Houston, with women who are not only not new to the game, but are like uber successful. So I don't know if you've been following me on my Instagram stories, but there is a community of women here, particularly in Houston, who are like killing it, like really doing the thing, 7-figure businesses, 8-figure businesses, like super smart. Just like, I'm like, whoa, I want to be you guys when I grow up, like way more successful than me. I'm just like, can I just sit at your feet and just soak up everything you've got going on? And the amount of like generosity that I have received from these women with no strings attached, like they don't expect anything from me, but just the amount of like open arms, hey, Courtney, like, come to this thing with us. Come to this event. Like, we're going to shout you out on our platform. We want to do this, not expecting never asking me for anything. Not even that I have it to give in comparison to them, because I'm like, you guys are just so successful, but it was just a stark comparison of like, wow, here are these people who are so successful and are giving so much to the point that, maybe I would feel that they're a little justified in, maybe expecting a quid pro quo or asking something from me in return, because they're just doing so much. And, they're just so successful. And so to be working with them and they're literally expecting nothing and they're just doing it, no strings attached, just straight up generosity because they're just like that. So, to be dealing with uber successful people who have that perspective on one end, and then to be dealing with someone who's just getting their start and has the audacity to have an attitude about something that, one, they weren't owed, and two, wasn't even communicated to me, I was just like, wow, this is just not a good look. I was like, wow, it's just sad that people who are coming into the game and people who are new to entrepreneurship don't understand the value of giving and don't understand the value of building relationships and how this thing really works over time. So on one hand, when I got the email from this person, I was just like, shaking my head and like, wow, this is kind of crazy. And it was funny because I was like, sort of like, how you talk, like halfway pray about something, but then you're halfway like fuming to yourself. So I was like, in part, kind of praying, talking to God about it, but then kind of like ranting about it in my head. Like, why would this person send me this? Like, who do they think they are? This is a mess. Like, what in the world? Don't even.
Today's episode is sponsored by my very own private membership, the More Than One Club. I believe that we're called to be successful in more than one area of life. Why can't you have a profitable business and a passionate marriage, a hefty bank account and a healthy body, crazy self-discipline, and killer style? I believe that you can have it all. And so if you're listening to this and you want to be successful in more than one area, I invite you to join me inside of the More Than One Club. This is for women who are tired of being told that they can't have it all. You can have it all without it all falling apart. So if you're looking to juggle all of your roles and your goals flawlessly, please come join us. It's really fun. We do everything from book club discussions. There's various accountability groups. I provide secret podcasts only to my More Than One Club members. So if you love listening to my podcast, there's more where that came from inside of the More Than One Club only. There are events. There's opportunities for you to meet other members who are local to you. So if you struggle with finding other people who have a similar mindset to you, it's all inside of the More Than One Club. So join us for free for 2 weeks via a 14-day trial at morethanoneclub.com. That's MoreThanOneclub, morethanoneclub.com. I hope to see you inside. Now let's get into this episode.
Messing up my energy for the day, sending me this madness. I was kind of in that mode, and then literally I heard God say, I felt it in my spirit, not to get super churchy on you guys, but seriously, I'm like ranting to God, like, what? This is just ridiculous, outrageous. And then I literally hear, yeah, but that's what you do with funnels. Like literally in my spirit, I'm hearing like, but that's what you do with funnels. Meaning I was upset because I received this email from this person who I didn't know was kind of setting me up for like a quid pro quo thing. And then when I didn't act according to their expectations of, I'm going to give you this quote unquote gift, and I expect, this transaction in return, but I never communicated that to you. And then when you didn't do it, I'm upset with you. In the internet marketing world, that's what entrepreneurs do all the time to their own audience with these funnels and stuff, and these quote unquote freebies, right? If you've been in internet marketing for any amount of time or been around the internet space for any amount of time, what are you taught? You're taught to come up with a quote unquote freebie, and you're taught not to come up with a freebie that is just a great freebie and it's just something that you just want to contribute for the greater good of your community and your audience, and it's just really beneficial and you just want to give it because you just want people to have it because you want them to experience a result. No, you're taught to come up with something that's very strategic, and it may or may not be all that valuable to the end user, but you're just coming up with it so that you can give them something for free in exchange for their contact information. And once you have their contact information, then you're going to give them what you really want them to do, which is buy something from you. You're going to pitch them your product. Now, you made no mention that you were going to sell them anything or pitch or promote a product when you were advertising your freebie. You were making it look like, oh, download this free PDF. Oh, join this free webinar. Oh, get this free thing. It's like with one hand, you have one hand outstretched, offering somebody something, but then behind your back, you have, something else in your hand that you really want to give them, that you're trying to shove in their face. That's really how funnels work, and how, most people in the online space, in the internet marketing space, and even myself, I'm not above this. I'm not like, oh, I'm so good, I've never done this. Like, yeah, like this is how I was taught to do it, as was everybody else. You give this like strategic freebie that you think is going to attract people who will be good candidates to buy your thing. And then once you get them, you reel them in and you give them the freebie. Then you push in their face your product, which is what you really want to sell them. And then get this, because this is really all a funnel is. You tell them about your product that they didn't even know you had, and they had no idea that you were even marketing. And then when they don't buy it, you send them 3, 4, 5, 7, 10 follow-up emails, basically harassing them, saying, well, why didn't you buy my product? Well, you signed up for this freebie. I thought you were serious about XYZ. I thought you were serious about losing weight. I thought you were serious about growing your business. I thought you were serious about finding love and dating. I thought you were serious about growing your hair. I thought, like, whatever it is your business is, whatever it is that you do, I thought you were serious about XYZ topic. If you were serious, you would have bought my product. Tell me right now. I know you're listening to this. I know you have received emails like that. I know you have signed up for something for free and then been blasted with emails that you didn't ask for, to pitch a product that you didn't even know the person had, that not only was pitching the product to you, which is one thing, maybe it's like, okay, I didn't know you had this product, but okay, fine. Oh, you're selling this product? No thanks, I'm not interested in buying that right now. That'd be one thing. But to then send people emails or to receive emails that are borderline accusatory, basically saying you're not really serious about the subject matter of the freebie that you signed up for. You're not really serious because you signed up for this webinar about this topic and you didn't buy this program. It's like, whoa. I didn't even know you had a program. Like, I thought you were teaching a masterclass for free. I thought this PDF was free. Like, that's how I felt, And so basically that's what God was saying to me, like exactly how you feel right now, blindsided and like, what? Like, I didn't agree to this and I didn't know you wanted something from me in exchange. I thought this was, a free and clear gift. I thought, because that's what a gift is, a true gift with no strings attached. I thought this was a free and clear gift. I didn't know not only you wanted something from me, but that you were going to accuse me and attack me when I didn't give you that thing, when that thing was never even communicated. Like, I didn't even know you had this expectation. That's how I felt being on the receiving end, of this person's misguided, attack, or misguided, like, quid pro quo, like, I don't even know, plan, basically, I guess that's the word, this quid pro quo plan they were kind of scheming on me that I didn't realize was happening. Well, that's exactly what we do when we put people through traditional funnels. And I went from like kind of fuming in my mind about the email this person sent me or just the situation that I felt like they put me in, to honestly thanking God that he used them to open up my eyes to a big mistake that I was making in my own business, and a big mistake I feel like entrepreneurs are making in the industry. And I'm super sensitive to this now, especially since I've had, my spiritual awakening and all that stuff. I talked about that last year, actually around this time, when I switched my business over to my name. So go check out that podcast episode if you haven't. But I'm super sensitive about that now because I know that you guys aren't conversions, right? And in internet marketing speak, there's this idea of conversions of like, okay, how many people did you get on your email list and what percentage of them converted into customers, in the sense of what percentage of them purchased your product? Well, when you look at conversion numbers and everybody's like, yeah, was your conversion rate 20%? Was your conversion rate 10%? Was your conversion rate 5%? When you look at people as conversion numbers, you don't look at them as actual people. And for me, it means I'm not looking at people as souls. And so for me, that's especially a no-no, because I'm not just in business to make money, even though, don't get me wrong, I am definitely, it's not a nonprofit. I'm definitely in business to make money. So this is not me saying I think it's bad to sell things or to promote your product, but I do think it's bad to sell things and promote your product in an inauthentic way. And so hiding from people the fact that you even have something to sell, not letting them know that you want to sell something, and then kind of doing this duplicitous, like, I'm going to give you something for free, but then I'm really going to spring on, this product on you that you weren't even aware of, and I kind of hid from you on purpose. That's duplicitous. And so to do that, and then to be hyper focused on your conversion numbers, well, how many people converted? For me especially, and I know for the place that God has me, that's really bad, because it means I'm like churning through people that I could actually be reaching and whose like hearts and souls I could actually be touching, right? And so the crazy thing, and as I started to think about this, I was like, wow, God, like, one, thank you. And this is just, it's just such a full circle moment, because as I've mentioned in previous episodes, I remember like arguing with God, like back in 2016, back in 2017, I knew something in the milk wasn't clean with like the marketing tactics that I was learning and some of the coaches that I was sitting under and just the way that they were doing business, and just even people I was just learning from, like other podcasts I was listening to and webinars I was on and just tactics I was trying. I knew something was off, but I didn't know what to do instead. And I remember kind of getting that Holy Spirit tug of like, this is not the right way. You should be doing something different. And I literally remember arguing with God, like, God, this is business. Like, I have to learn from these people. I can't learn this stuff from the Bible. Like, I literally was like, What there's no instruction manual about funnels or marketing in the Bible. Like, God, what do you want me to do? I was really kind of like indignant and irritated. I felt like that God was kind of like tugging me in a different direction when I felt like there wasn't instruction for me to do things the way that he wanted me to do. I'm like, where, in what book? Like, is it in Proverbs? Is it in Psalms? Like Matthew? Like, where does it talk about how to market an online business? It doesn't. So it's kind of like, so there, God, like thumbing my nose to God, like, so there. So just simmer down and be quiet and just let me learn from these people, because you ain't teaching me what I need to know in order to grow my business. So it's so funny now to be receiving these revelations, because not only is it God like telling me what I need to know, is also him kind of like thumbing his nose back at me in a good way, though, because I know, God's not like that. But kind of like, see there, Courtney, I told you. Yes, I will teach you, right? I forget which verse it is, but the Bible talks about all scripture is like profitable for, instruction and godly living, and that's in all things. It's profitable for every good work, for every good endeavor, including our businesses. And so it's just so funny that like now that I'm submitting to God and like yielding, I'm like learning all this stuff that I wasn't learning before, and I now see so clearly how that particular tactic, particularly about funnels and giving these like fake freebies away in exchange for email so that you can bombard people with marketing emails, I see how like stupid it was, because even in internet marketing land, it's considered normal and it's considered even good if, get this, it's considered good if 2% of your audience, quote unquote, converts. So if you have 100 people on your email list, it's considered good if just 2 of them purchase your products, which means you basically discard the other 98 people. You ignore them, or you blast them with a bunch of emails to buy your thing. And then if they don't buy your thing, then, whatever, who cares about them? Just focus on the 2 people who bought your product. And again, if you're looking at it from an internet marketing like numbers conversion standpoint, yeah, maybe you could factor the math, and this is where people get really technical, and they're like, well, if I spend X amount of money on Facebook ads and I get 10,000 people to go through my funnel per month, and then if 2% of them buy and my product is XYZ dollars, then, that's $10,000 a month or whatever, that's $5,000 a month. Like, and then they just focus on kind of tweaking their little systems to get the math to work so that they're making the amount of money that they want to make, but they're not focusing on the actual lives that they're basically discarding in the process, because they're just so focused on how can I get that conversion number that's going to give me the amount of money and the amount of revenue that I want to make in my business. Well, at least for me, and what I'm called to, I can't do that anymore, right? Because these are actual people. And so even if they don't buy right now, and that's what's so sad, like just because somebody doesn't buy from you right now doesn't mean they'll never buy from you. And how can you discard them when you sprung it on them? Like, they didn't even know that you had something for sale. Like, some people need more touch points and they just need to be warmed up and kind of like, well, let me know what you got to offer and let me kind of, play around with your free content for a while, and then people will buy when they're ready, right? But we're so obsessed with control and making a certain amount of money and forcing the issue in internet marketing land that we totally burn through valuable relationships. I can't tell you how many people I have on my email list who have never bought anything from me, but who have referred me to people who have then put me in magazines or given me big breaks or big speaking opportunities. I've had so many situations where I've gotten big publicity or made big money on some other contract or something that I never would have had access to if it weren't for somebody in my audience who's never even bought anything from me, but they really like my content and they respect what I'm doing, and they threw my name in the hat in something. And so this is why I'm like, you know what? I want to start over to show people what it looks like to build a real brand and to create genuine value, because this internet marketing like funnel culture has taught so many entrepreneurs to burn their own audience, like to burn relationships that could be super valuable for them just because that person didn't buy your product within 5 days of signing up for your email opt-in. And again, I was just so grateful to God that, he used the experience that I had, and he used that person kind of unwittingly to teach me that message or that lesson, because I was like, wow, like and again, we were just getting to know each other, like, it was new. She burned a relationship with me. Like, now I'm not going to work with her. She burned a relationship with me that could have been valuable in the long term because she was so upset about not getting something she oddly felt entitled to, again, even though that wasn't communicated to me, and it was kind of a underhanded, like, oh, I'm giving you this free thing, but really I want you to promote me. She burned a relationship with me because it was short-sighted. That's why I was so disappointed, because she didn't get something that she wanted up front, when in reality, who knows, over time and over the course of getting to know her, perhaps organically, we could have worked on something, or I could have done something for her that could have been infinitely more valuable than the very thing that she was upset that she didn't get. And I feel like a lot of entrepreneurs do the exact same thing to their audience. They spend all this time and all this money on advertising, getting this huge volume of people on their email list, 1,000 people on my email list, 5,000 people on my email list, 10,000 people on my email list. And they do it under false pretenses with this like fake freebie that the only reason they even have the freebie is just to like sell people stuff, and they don't communicate that up front. Because again, there's nothing wrong with selling people anything. But if you don't communicate what it is you're doing, you can't then blast people with sales promotions that they didn't even realize that you had, and then get mad at them when they don't buy your product. And so many entrepreneurs do that. And then they just burn through, the majority of their list. They have 10,000 people on their list, and they burn 9,800 of them because they're so hyper focused on the 200 that they can convince to buy their product, and they feel happy and satisfied because they made their sales. Oh, I had 200 people on my list, and I sold them a product for X amount of dollars, so I made my money. Yeah, you made your money, but it's short-sighted because you have no idea what kind of gold could have been in the 9,800 that you just, basically discarded. And not even from the standpoint of sales, even though I'm sure plenty of those people would have bought down the road had they had the opportunity to continue to cultivate a relationship with you. But again, there's a lot of people in your audience who may never exchange money with you or purchase something from you, but they might set you up for bigger and bigger opportunities. And so this was actually really solidified the other day. So I've been working out because I'm like, okay, Courtney, it's time to get it back together. Like, you're over 30 now, that weight creep. Like, I was super lackadaisical after having my son, because to be honest, I pretty much lost all of my baby weight, but I wasn't working out, and I wasn't, I'm kind of like firm, and I like to have cut arms and all that stuff. I wasn't like focusing on that. And I've been noticing that I've been hovering in between sizes. So I'm like my normal size, and then I'm noticing I've been fitting a lot of clothes really well that are the next size up. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to start this road. Not because I think the next size up is bad, but because I know that it gets harder and harder to lose weight the older you get and your metabolism slows down. And I'm like, I don't even want to play that game. I'm in my 30s now. So lately I've been like, okay, it's time to get it together. So your girl's back on intermittent fasting, and it's actually been working really well. I've been doing Peloton. I ride my Peloton. Well, I don't have a Peloton bike, actually. I have just a regular cheap bike that I got off Amazon, and then I use the Peloton app. And I did that because I wasn't sure that I was going to stick with Peloton, and I didn't want to invest in the real Peloton bike because it's expensive, even though I think it's worth it. I didn't want to invest in the real bike until I could prove to myself that this was something that I would stick with. And lately I've been sticking with it, so I'm like, oh yeah, I want the real Peloton bike. But anyway, I've been doing Peloton every other day. So I'll do it like Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And I try to work out at least for 20 minutes, 5 to 6 days a week. So in the in-between days of riding my Peloton, I work out, but I don't always get to the gym because sometimes I have the baby or I have work to do or whatever. So lately what I've been doing is I've just been going on YouTube and pulling up like fitness videos. So I really like Pop Sugar's fitness videos. But also I heard of her before, but I never watched her videos until now. This chick, I think her name's Cassie, but she has this really large YouTube channel called Blogilates, where she has like all these free Pilates exercises and workouts and videos. And I did a few and I really liked them. And so I found myself every time that it was like an off Peloton day, just going straight to her YouTube channel and looking up different fitness exercises that she had for Pilates. And so then I got really curious about her story because she has like almost 5 million followers on YouTube. And I'm like, how is she doing this? Like, she has all these fitness videos for free, you know, a lot of fitness videos and they're like in depth, they're long, like full length. I'm like, a lot of people would pay for this. And so I'm, you know, always curious about the entrepreneur behind the story. So I started Googling interviews with her, and I found one that she did, and it was so fascinating. It was like confirmation for me. She talked about how when she got into Blogilates, she didn't do it because she was trying to grow some big brand. She didn't do it because she was trying to like get rich or make a lot of money. She did it because she was a Pilates instructor who, like, in real life, she was doing in-person Pilates classes, and she was moving, and she felt bad because she had developed a relationship with the women who had come to the studio that she was teaching at and do her fitness videos. So, and this was like back in 2009, she started posting Pilates videos on YouTube just because she wanted to give like that local group of 30 women or whoever came to her class, she wanted to give them something that they could do even though she no longer lived in her city. And so it was supposed to be kind of like a group text thing, and she would just upload them to YouTube so that people could watch them. But she said people really liked them, and they started spreading them to their friends who weren't even a part of her original Pilates class. And people started hitting her up like, oh, can you do more Pilates videos? Because she would just do them kind of infrequently just to give people something to do. And so it was from there that she started to do them regularly. And the entire time, for the last 10 years that she's been doing it, she's never charged for her Pilates videos because she's like, I just wanted to give women just, you know, something to do. So that's her shtick. And she offers free full-length Pilates videos on YouTube. But here's the crazy thing. By virtue of her focusing on giving value and not trying to like sell people up front and monetize people immediately, not only did she grow her brand like wildfire, I mean, who has 5 million subscribers on YouTube, but she was able to do tons and tons of partnerships, including a partnership with 24 Hour Fitness, where her Pilates instruction is a part of their gyms all over the country. Like, it's a part of their actual fitness classes that they have instructors teach. I can guarantee you that was not a free setup. That was probably, if I had to guess, a 6-figure deal that she probably inked with 24 Hour Fitness in order to have her programs in their gyms. And I just laughed as I like listened to her story and her interview, because I was like, wow, imagine if she followed like traditional internet marketing advice and she was like, no, you have to give me your name and email in order to get this 5-minute clip of my Pilates video. And then, you know, they sign up for the 5-minute clip of the Pilates video. And then imagine if she like blasted them with emails like, you know, you need to buy this, like the full Pilates, you know, workout set or whatever. I mean, and realistically, how much could she really have gotten individually for like Pilates videos online, right? Like $19.99? Like, I mean, it's not like she could have sold them for a lot of money anyway. Even just individually, she probably would have sold them for $19.99 or $24.99 or whatever, if she focused on just like hammering people to buy her individual Pilates videos. But she didn't. She focused on giving genuine value, giving value that no one else in her space was giving at the time, which is another key, doing something that no one else is doing. And by virtue of that, she ended up building a brand and growing an audience that then allowed her to ink 6-figure deals to get the real money, to get the real bag. And so just to make it full circle, again, it just goes back to why I was so disappointed with my interaction with, you know, this kind of new entrepreneur that I experienced, because it was like, wow, at the same time, I was experiencing the exact opposite with people who were so much more successful in their businesses and who were just like so successful, and they were just so generous and so giving. And so I think there's this misconception that super successful people or wealthy people or people who are making a lot of money in their business are like so about getting the bag and so about like, no, about their money and, you know, I'm going to make my money and I'm not going to do anything for you or whatever, when actually the opposite is true. They're actually extremely generous and extremely giving. And they know that if they focus on giving it will come back to them. And it does. It comes back to them in a big way, and it comes back to them in the form of big money. They don't harass people or focus on this little tit for tat, quid pro quo, penny ante, like how can I get the stuff up front? They give, knowing that they'll have a bigger opportunity to receive on the back end. And that's why they're so successful, both financially and otherwise. And so that's why I said at the beginning of this, I really encourage everyone listening to read the book, The Go-Giver, but specifically read both versions, the original, and then read the book, The Go-Giver, just about sales and marketing, because it really talks about this mindset. And every entrepreneur that I see that's like super successful, like big name, like a household name, like, you know, this Cassie woman with Blogilates, or a Gary Vaynerchuk, or E.T. the hip hop preacher, you know, they're kind of known for giving a ton of value up front for years and years and years. And now they're like multimillionaires on the back end because they created opportunities where that was even possible for them. So that's the short why I'm starting over. Basically because I want to change the narrative and focus just on giving value. Not to say that I didn't give value before, but I feel like, again, with like the internet marketing focus, there's a lot of crap and a lot of hoopla. And so at least with me, I want to strip all that away and prove my point and my theory and what I know and what I've seen, that if you focus on giving value first, all the other stuff will take care of itself. And so if you're curious to see how this works out, just hang out with me. Like I said, I like deleted everybody off my email list. I only added those that I knew were like ride or dies and like were really rocking with me. So if you want to follow along this journey, you can go on my website, or I'll include a link in the show notes where you can get on my email list. And yeah, to prove my point and to really start over, I'm like getting rid of all of my products, you know, not selling them after Black Friday. And I'm just starting from scratch. So if you want to take advantage of, this new change, and you want to get access to some really good products, you know, products that are worth like $300 and courses and different things for $20.20 while it's still available, because this stuff will sell out, then, you can follow along on Instagram, or you can join my email list and get notified when those products go on sale. And you just go to my website and you'll see the email inboxes. It's just like join my community. Just sign up for that. So go to CourtneyLSanders.com and sign up. I'll also include a direct link in the show notes that you can click to sign up to get on my email list. But yeah, that's why I decided to start over. That's where my head is at. And I'm really excited about the journey. And I thank you for coming along with me. So with that, I'll see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.